Lewis Morgan is a colonel who was in charge of Hamburg and putting that sector of English control of Germany back on its feet at the end of World War II. Germany was divided up into four parts between the Russians, the English, the Americans, and the French. Before the war, he was remarkable. He was just a simple school teacher, married to Rachael, and then found himself off to war and rose as high as an enlisted man can go. It was a time that I didn't know about, I always knew about the war and, the battles and the this and, the West won. But I didn't know about how Germany got to be where it is today, and who picked up the pieces of this, terrible mess. And then I loved that none of the characters were judged. Louis, Stefan, or Rachael. You didn't say this person's bad or this person's wrong. It was an examination of love. I thought in a way a great psychotherapist would talk about it. That what it means to stand in love rather than just fall in love. What it means to try, to find true love, to build a relationship which is extraordinary, particularly out of the ashes, of this mess that they'd found themselves in, Rachael and Louis had found themselves in. I spoke to him. I was on holiday in France, in Cap Ferret, and read it. Wasn't looking to do anything at the time because I needed a bit of a break. Loved it, and then Skyped with James and Jack. And, you could just see that I watched, Testament to Youth, and I just thought, what? I do believe that you're going to make a beautiful love story here with a social underpinning. You follow this couple, but it's about the world at large. And that, you're not going to turn into something that's silly. It's actually going to be very honest and moving and real. Keira's fantastic. She'd had a child since then, and I'd had a child since then. And this part required it's a very intimate portrayal of a man and a woman, and their intimacy, and their problems, and their frailties, and their fears, and their sexuality, and I couldn't have found a better partner than Keira. She's wonderful. I've known Alex for a while, and I've known him even before that through other Swedish friends like Faris on Zero Dark 30 and Daniel Espinosa on Child 44, and there's a big Swedish community in LA, but it was my first time working with, a lot in common. He's a wonderful man. I'm going to work with his brother, Bill, next. I found the film when I watched it that it opens me up. It doesn't pull my strings, or it's not manipulative anyway. It just opens you up as it peels back your levels, and then so by the end of it, you're left with a great positiveness and a hope for us as people, and of what we are capable of building rather than just destroying. It's set in the aftermath of World War II and the end of the loss of a child and a marriage that's falling apart, in the aftermath of all of that, and yet out of it, we see what we are capable of who we really are, or who we really can be, if we allow, that to reside within us and grow.
I play Rachael Morgan, who is a woman who has lost her child and is travelling to Hamburg after the Second World War, where her husband has been put in charge of one of the precincts trying to rebuild Hamburg. I read the script and I thought, I've never read anything quite like this. And although I've been in a number of World War II films and have seen many World War II films, I've never seen a film that was dealing exactly with this period of time, which was the direct aftermath after the conflict, and kind of what that must have been like for all of those people. It was sort of kind of post-apocalyptic, and how exactly you did rebuild after that. How physically did you rebuild cities? How did you rebuild nations? And as far as kind of relationships, there wasn't anybody on either side of that conflict that wasn't touched personally by having lost somebody, and therefore kind of there were no winners. And sort of what did that look like, and how did people kind of manage to move forward? And I think it was a question that actually I'd never really thought about. I think I realised, that actually that generation, their great triumph was in fact the rebuilding after that horrific conflict. I did meet with Rydian, but I didn't the script was very different from the novel, so I sort of left the novel and sort of went just for the script. And I did bits of research on my own about the period, and then sort of loosely about grief, because I didn't want to speak to anyone, because I'm not a journalist and I didn't want to kind of encroach in anybody's pain. So I read sort of various psychological or kind of things online about grief and how the different ways that men and women grieved. And I think there was one thing that majorly stuck out, which was somebody who had lost their child, which said, you know, that there's no word for a parent who's lost a child. If you're a child that's lost a parent, you're an orphan, or you're a widow, or you're a widower, but there is no word. So it's such a kind of horrific, terrible thing that there isn't even a word in our language that can kind of cover it. And that kind of idea of somebody that no longer knows what she is she still a mother if she's lost her child? What function does she have? And I think I was interested in kind of all of those ideas within it. Coming from London, this time period is interesting because you literally walk around London and you see the scars of it absolutely everywhere. I mean, I think it was the last time that conflict literally came to British shores. My grandparents obviously were alive during the Second World War. My grandfathers fought in the Second World War. So I grew up with stories of that time period. So I think it's probably that kind of interests me. It's in the past, but it's still kind of very present. So I think that's probably why I kind of like revisiting it. James Kent is just one of the loveliest men in the entire world. I don't think there's a nicer man anywhere. So, you know, I just met him and thought, oh, well, I want to spend a couple of months with you. I love working with Jason Clarke. Yeah, we worked together on Everest. Nothing good ever happens when we're married. There he dies, then this time our son dies. I mean, you know, but he is such a wonderful actor, and I just totally love working with him. Alexander is, I think, again, just a very, very lovely man. So, you know, I think it's great when you're kind of dealing with a story that is sort of so complex and so dark. It's really nice when you're working with really nice people. I think it's a very, very grown-up film. I think it's a very grown-up love story. And I think it's grappling with lots of questions that sort of seem very relevant to today. How do we rebuild? How do we see each other as human beings? How do we bridge gulfs? I think it's got all of that in it.